Hey, how's it going, everybody? This video was about this book right here, The Body by Stephen King. And it was written, let me tell you the date that it was published. It was written in 1982. I think there was a movie made about it, maybe like 3 years later. It's called Stand By Me, and the movie is fantastic. I would totally recommend the movie. Has Joaquin Phoenix in it as a little boy and others. Super 80s, super awesome. But the book has 179 pages long, so it's a super quick read. It's like a novella more than a book. And basically, to summarize the story, there's these 4 kids. You can see them running along racetracks there. And the book is obviously called The Body. So these 4 kids, one of them overhears this group of older kids talk about how there was a local boy who was hit by a train, and they think that his body is still by the train tracks, and they want to go find it. And the kids overhear that, or one of the kids overhears that, and he tells the other kids, like, we need to go find this. We'd be local heroes if we turned them into the police. Like, we'd be famous for a second. They kind of like that idea. And so then they go out, I think it's over Memorial Weekend or something like that. They lie to their parents and tell them that they're like sleeping over at each other's houses or going camping. And they set out to go and find this body of, the kid's last name is Bauer. Can't remember what his first name is. But they go out, and it's quite a walk. I think they said it was like maybe 30 miles away. So they're just trekking along for a couple days. And in that time, and the story is told retrospectively because Gordie Lachance, I think is his name, I think he read something in the paper, and it just like made him think back to his time in this town, growing up with these kids. I think they were 12, and he just writes the story. Now that he's an adult, he thinks back and he writes the story of their adventures together, and it's really tender. And yeah, it's not so much about the body as it is like these 4 boys growing closer together and like interacting with one another. They do find the body at the end, but I won't tell you what happens. But yeah, it's kind of tender. It really is. And the movie is so good. I almost like the movie better than the book. And I liked the book. It's just I had expectations going into it that were different than how it was written. So, and when that happens, you know. Just gonna read 5 little excerpts as I do. So this chapter 1, it says, and it's important to note too that Gordie, this main character, the main boy of the group, he always wanted to be a writer. And a lot of people think that this is about Stephen King's own childhood. And he always wanted to be a writer. He says, the most important things are the hardest things to say. They are the things you get ashamed of because words diminish them. Words shrink things that seem limitless when they are in your head to no more than living size when they're brought out. But it's more than that, isn't it? The most important things lie too close to wherever your secret heart is buried, like landmarks to a treasure your enemies would love to steal away. And you may make revelations that cost you dearly, only to have people look at you in a funny way, not understanding what you said at all, or why you thought it was so important that you almost cried while you were saying it. That's the worst, I think, when the secret stays locked within, not for want of a teller, but for want of an understanding ear. I was 12 going on 13 when I saw a dead human being. It happened in 1960, a long time ago, although sometimes it doesn't seem that long to me, especially on the nights I wake up from dreams where the hail falls into his open eyes. Ah! And so anyway, it's Gordie. He's recounting the story of how it happens. And yeah, the second excerpt that I wanted to read says, the most important things, he repeats this over and over and over. The most important things are the things are the hardest to say because words diminish them. It's hard to make strangers care about the good things in your life. Speech destroys the function of love. Friends come in and out of your life like busboys in a restaurant. Did you ever notice that? And then he ends, he says, the trestle upstream is gone, but the river is still around. So am I. I would totally recommend this book. It's not a very long read. I'd recommend the movie even more, but I really liked my experience with it. So if you've read it, let me know. I'd love to chat about it. Let me know if you have any book recs. I really liked this book. Yeah. This is Carson Reads. It's called Carson Reads because I'm Carson and I read. Ciao.